What's up, everybody, man? You already know what time it is. We talking potential landing spots for old Sammy D, the go seeing Sam Dawn. So, without further ado, come on in the building, man. It's that time.
Ah, yeah, y'all come on in the building. Y'all already know what time it is. I'm out here. The tailgate experience. All right. Lion, tailgate one. Oh man, this on fun. We told y'all we gonna be out at 6. And y'all know what's happening. All right.
What's going on? What's going on, man? It's your boys in the building. I'd like to welcome you to the tailgate experience. We here to talk Sam Darnold and his potential landing spots, man. This is incredible because Sam Darnold, who was written off as probably one of the biggest disappointments in his career, starting off with the Jets and the Carolina Panthers, has seemingly gone to the San Francisco 49ers as well as going to the Minnesota Vikings and turned his entire career around. With that being said, you talk about a magical season for 2024 for Sam Darnold. 4,319 yards, 35 touchdowns with completion percentages of 66 for the year. And I'm going to tell you, 102 passer rating for the entire season. He made his first Pro Bowl and helped the Vikings win 14 games. He has proven himself as a valuable long-term starter. I never thought I would hear those words come out of my mouth about Sam Darnold. Now, granted, Sam Darnold did lead them to the playoffs, and yes, he did melt down in the playoffs. But that led me to say, when the stakes are highest, you can't really depend on him. Losing, like I said, 31-9 to the Detroit Lions. That was a little. It was bad. It was bad, man. 31-9 to Detroit Lions. Then they turned around the following week with an astounding 27-9 loss to the Rams. So, with that being said, Darnold failed to match the production that he had all season. And the only thing that I could figure out, and this is me, when the lights are the brightest and when you need him the most, he kind of tends to get inside his own head. And so, with that being said, you want to talk about the possibilities of where Darnold could land. There's only a bevy of teams that I think that are built for a Sam Darnold type that he could go in and have success, like how he did with the Minnesota Vikings. So with that being said, number one, I'm probably gonna say this, and I'm gonna be as nice as I can. If you're trying to acquire or bring in a piece like Sam Darnold, you need to have weapons. First and foremost on my list, I think the New York Giants. They're going to either look for a veteran quarterback because they aren't sitting at the very tip top of the draft like how they once was. So they're going to probably look to bring in somebody to have a piece because their GM and their head coach is on a hot seat. So first and foremost, with Daniel Jones under center, they underachieve. I think Sam Darnold is a much better version of Daniel Jones. I think, if anything, with Malik Neighbors, and then, like I said, that little miniature run game that they got there, they're still going to need to put some pieces around them, but they have an elite defense. So with that being said, they might need to get another piece on that line and then put a weapon in that backfield. And they may, so let's be real. If they go and get Sam Darnold and then they go get like Ashton Genty or something like that from Boise State in the draft and pair that with Sam Darnold and Malik Neighbors, you talking about win some games? They could win some games now. That would actually be a good situation if you think about it. Ashton Genty had 2,500 yards, 29 touchdowns this season. Now, granted, Boise State, like I said, to me is like a mid-major, but they're Division I. So I'm just saying, the boy was in, he was number 2 in the Heisman vote. Let's just be real. I think that would be a great fit if they were to make a move like that. Or they could try to, get another weapon to go beside Malik Neighbors like a Ted McMillan or somebody like that. But whatever they do offensively, they need to go in this draft and get pieces if they're trying to bring in a guy like Sam Darnold. Because you saw Sam Darnold with Justin Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, and the crew. Them boys were exceptional. And then they had a good defense. Like I said, so you get to see what he could. You can win some games with Sammy D until you're able to figure out what's your long-term solution. And for the Vikings, they already had JJ McCartney. They just took him the year before, and he got hurt in the preseason. You saw him in one game put up 210 yards in a half, which is ridiculously crazy. 210 yards in a couple of series for a young rookie. And like I said, right now, JJ McCartney is worlds better than Sam Darnold. So the difference is in the playoffs where Sam Darnold came up small, you probably would have seen JJ McCartney come in and actually contributed heavy in those playoff games. Yes, even as a rookie. Because like I said, having those guys there, he has the leadership intangibles that you would need in a quarterback to take his game to a greater height. So number one, like I said, is the Giants. Number two, and I know people are going to be saying, what? Where is this one coming from? Because you need a team that'll be able to acquire him. Some way, somehow, no matter what cap hell this team is in, they're always in a position to get a quarterback or make a move with money. I don't know how they kick the can down the road, but they always seem to do it. The New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints are a couple of pieces away from putting it together. I mean, like I said, you got Chris Olave, A.T. Perry in the crew. You got the running backs on the ground, Kamara and Chris. It's one of those things where they have the pieces. They just need an engine to get the car moving. I believe that Sam Darnold, if you put him there, he's better than Derek Carr at this point in time. And I would hate to have to see an NFC South where you got Michael Penix, a potential Sam Darnold with those weapons, Chris Olave and those guys. Because Chris Olave is a pretty good receiver now. If you ask me, the hierarchy in the NFC South, it's always going to be Mike Evans, but Chris Olave is like the vast number two. And then Chris Godwin and those crew. I mean, I'm just saying, the weapons that he could have right there in New Orleans would be crazy. They just have to rebuild that defense. That defense is a little aging, and they need to get younger pieces in there. But the New Orleans Saints is in a position now where they got a fired head coach, and they're going to look to potentially bring in somebody. Now, if you're sitting in the middle of the pack like how they are, I don't think there's a quarterback past Ward, past Shedeur Sanders, unless Quinn Ewers is in this draft. And I believe that from what I'm hearing that he is going to end up going back into college. There isn't a third guy that I would say, okay, when all else fails, let me put my chips down and bring this guy in, because he's going to be better than Derek Carr. There isn't a guy, and they don't have a guy on their roster right now that's as good as Sam Darnold coming in. So, like I said, make no mistake, the Saints are in a position where they need a quarterback. Look for them to try to make a move at Sam Darnold type. Kirk Cousins. Like I said, I just did the video on Kirk Cousins. One of these veteran quarterbacks, because these are the top two veterans, one of them will land in one of these spots. Next up is the Vegas Raiders. I told you, Tom Brady is over here trying to get things together. I don't think that he is a big Sam Darnold fan, because Tom Brady is, whenever the lights were on, he always produced. Now, yes, Sam Darnold, 14 games is hard to overlook, but it's like, when we needed you the most, you let us down. And that's what I think is going to be the big holdback, because Aiden O'Connell is on the roster, but he's not good enough. You got Brock Bowers, who just practically broke almost every rookie record receiving as a tight end over there. So you have some pieces. Him, Michael Mayer. I mean, good God, y'all have some pieces, man. Let's not play. They can get this thing together if they need be. And look, there's a move to be made with the Raiders. I think the Raiders are going to look to probably try to get a veteran quarterback in, whether it's Kirk Cousins or Sam Darnold. It's going to be one of the two. I think they're going to lead probably closer towards Kirk Cousins on this one, because I think he might be more of what Tom Brady would like versus Sam Darnold, even though Sam Darnold is the younger option. But as a bridge quarterback until they're able to get, because think about it. Right now, everybody thinking about that Dylan Raiola and that Nico, and probably potentially that young boy out of South Carolina. That's 2 years from now. Them boys is going to be in the draft 2 years from now. So that's the next level of, okay, the guys are coming out. The Dylan Raiolas, like I said, the Lenoris Sellers, the Nico from Tennessee. That we gotta wait 2 years. So with that being said, maybe you do put a 2-year deal on one of these guys so you're able to get to one of those guys. Because if Quinn, you would go back to college, and then okay, Riley Leonard to me is a hit or miss. You got to really do your homework to bring him in. You know, a lot of people probably screaming, well, Notre Dame is going to be contending for a college championship. Like I said, Riley Leonard is an acquired taste. You have to really like, because he's athletic and he going to give you, and this is the thing about him, he going to give you probably about $170 through the air, and he'll probably give you about 80, maybe 70 on the ground. And it's going to be just enough. But you got to have so many things moving him. You got to have an elite defense. You got to have weapons and playmakers around him, because he's a system type of quarterback for me. He's a system guy. So with that being said, also for the Sammy D train, I hate to say it, I don't think he should even look nowhere next towards the Jets. I think if they hang up everything with Aaron Rodgers, I think the Jets should not even look to entertain this man, because they ruined him so badly, and I don't think a home reunion would be good for him. But I'm gonna put this here. This is my last team for him, and I think that this is the most plausible one when it comes to all of them. You just seen it after a disappointing playoff exit. Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers need a quarterback, and I think Justin Fields, Noah Russell Wilson, who both aren't going to be under contract in 2025, I think that they are legitimately a good team with Arthur Smith as offensive coordinator, where he would really draw up some good things for him. And I say this because Sam Darnold under center, they have some pieces. I want to tiptoe around this one, because I don't want to put him in a position where he's with an angry receiver that's going to basically whoop his ass. But it's something about the Pittsburgh Steelers receivers. Them Pittsburgh Steelers receivers are they divas. I mean, there ain't a Pittsburgh Steelers receiver that we look at Deontay Johnson. And I hate to get off a subject real quick, but look at Deontay Johnson. Since he left the Steelers, he came to the Panthers. He went to the Ravens, got cut. Went to the Texans, got cut. Got picked back up by the Ravens, and now it's like, okay, the attitude's there. It's one of those things where I just can't figure out what is the deal from Pickens. Pickens got attitude problems. He got issues with them. Think about it. Let's look over the history. Antonio Brown, issues. Juju Smith-Schuster, issues. Pickens, George Pickens, issues. Deontay Johnson, issues. There ain't a damn receiver that they have that they don't have issues with. I don't understand it. So all I'm saying is I would love to see him go there with Mike Tomlin, because Mike Tomlin would be a hard coach for Sam Darnold, and it would be a change of pace of what he's used to. I just really think that when you take a look at this thing, they got Kyle Allen as a third string quarterback, and that would be, direct competition for Sam Darnold. They got Najee Harris, George Pickens, Van Jefferson. The biggest thing with them is making sure that they protect him on this offensive line and having some type of a tight end, because you saw Darnell Washington and Pat Freiermuth. Those guys had solid years this year, but you got to have a bona fide star at that position, because you saw what TJ Hawkinson was for him this year. Even though he got injured and he missed some time in Minnesota, he still was that guy for Sam Darnold, that blanket. So Sam Darnold, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers would be a good fit. They just have to make sure that, one, offensively, they get him a better running back weapon, because Najee Harris is good, but they need an explosive guy there. And they need to figure out what's going to be at receiver. And I know y'all saying, okay, well, how is this a good spot for him? I'm looking at the culture. I'm looking at what Mike Tomlin would bring to the table for him, if he is still there, because there's rumblings that are saying that they may potentially look after this loss to try to move on from him. So I'm just putting that out there. But I think for Sam Darnold, being with Tomlin, being in that culture of the Steelers, going to a winning franchise where every single year they are winning, he will book his ticket into the playoffs going with my man over there at the Steelers. That's the easy part. They're always good enough. Now, Tomlin is a guy, like I said, with Arthur Smith. Those guys are going to be able to creatively come up with good plays for this young man, but I just want to see him flourish. Because Sam Darnold is one of those guys, you got to have some type of a Justin Jefferson type around him to be successful. So, like I said, George Pickens is not that for him, but he's a step up. Because Wilson and Fields, they weren't it. And I'm not sitting here screaming that Sam Darnold is it. All I'm saying is he's a better option than what those two young men were. And they won, like I said, 10 games and went to the playoffs. And like I said, they do that every year consistently. That's what I expected anyway, with or without the quarterback play, because their defense is always going to tote them. And then they always got good coaches, which makes up for the rest. So inserting Sam Darnold into this can only make them better. And I think that Tomlin is a responsible enough coach that he understands who Sam Darnold is and what he needs to have around him to be successful. And they're going to have to target that tight end position in this draft, or some type of young weapon that could really help him out. A speedy guy, because Addison was always there for him. Addison was always a speedy guy that could get the ball, get out there, and Justin Jefferson, it's no matter what you throw his way, he catch it. He is that guy. He is sure hands J. JJ is like that. But tell me how y'all feel down in the comments where y'all think Sam Darnold is going to be. Is there any place that I hit on that you think that he'll have a chance to go to? Is there any place that I missed? Because like I said, there's a bevy of teams that's going to be looking for a quarterback. I just didn't want to go too far off the spectrum because, like I say, hell, even Cleveland Browns with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson needs to retire. I might do a video next on that. Maybe he needs to retire because he is lost his team basically to Jameis Winston. He provided some type of, I don't know what to call it, some thrills from Jameis, man. But they looking for a quarterback. Indianapolis Colts got AR-15, but they may still look to bring in a veteran guy to help push him. I wouldn't be surprised if Shane Steichen put in a call for Sam Darnold to come in there, because you got Flacco and Anthony Richardson, and you get better quarterback play, you potentially might be in the playoffs. So I'm just saying, Tennessee Titans is another one. I wouldn't put him in a Tennessee Titan environment. They have a great defense there, but they don't have enough offensive weapons. Do he stay in Minnesota? I don't see that happening. When you got a young rookie that has the same skill set as him, and you looking around and you saying, okay, they got the same skill set. JJ is just better. He has more intangibles than Darnold. JJ is on a rookie deal, so it's going to make sense to go with the rookie versus paying Sam Darnold close to $100+ million. I don't think he stays in Minnesota. And on top of that, they got Daniel Jones as a backup depth, as a veteran. So I think they move on from Sam Darnold completely. That's just my thoughts and my opinions on this whole thing, man. But like I said, anybody who watching this, man, put your thoughts and your opinions there. We are going to get to it as we do. And we're going to probably come back and revisit this subject again, because Sam Darnold is going to probably become a hot commodity as we get closer and closer to the off season to see where he goes. So we're gonna do the Sam Darnold watcher, the Sam Darnold tracker, the radar tracker. We're gonna keep up with this. So yeah, man, subscribe to the channel, man. It's your boy.